Thanks for being here, everyone. I want to welcome you to my new channel called It's Just Cooking. It's going to be a channel that reflects really good food in a basic way and demonstrate the easiest way of cooking really high quality foods, excellent flavors, and making it much more simple for you and much more enjoyable. Soup is one of the best ways of demonstrating cooking skills for not only what the soup is supposed to taste like, but the soup has a specific texture depending on what type of soup you're making, whether it's a thick or thin soup. Today we're making a chowder, so obviously it has to have certain ingredients, like it has to have flour in it, it has to have a roux because that's a thickener, it has to have potatoes, and it has to be chunky. It doesn't necessarily have to have cream if you can't have cream, but it does have to seem that sort of creaminess, and that's what the roux is going to do for you. I do have a recipe for this soup today. We are doing a New England or a Boston clam chowder, which is the white chowder. There's another chowder also as well called a Manhattan or New York chowder, which is a red chowder. I prefer the white. It's something I grew up with. And I do have a recipe, and I'm going to put it up so everyone can see it. But I'm also going to add a few other ingredients as well, because not everybody along the way will have the same ingredients that is part of the recipe that you look at. So I'm going to show you how you can sort of use ingredients as well that you have around the house that you can make work and sort of just retool the recipe and make it work with what you have. So I have a bunch of ingredients that I'm going to have here as far as making chowder. I have vegetables, celery, onions, carrots, a little bit of parsley, and some potatoes. I have some fat in terms of butter or bacon fat for making a thickening agent with flour to make the soup nice and thick and very flavorful, because we're going to use bacon fat. As well, we're going to add some bacon. And then, of course, the star of the show is going to be the clams that we're going to showcase and really highlight, because the one thing you don't want to do is any of those ingredients here to overpower the flavor that you're actually making a clam chowder. Garlic can be an option. You don't necessarily have to use garlic if you don't want to. Some people like it, some people don't. Again, it's one of those ingredients that doesn't necessarily have to be in there, but if you're an enthusiast with garlic, you can use it. And all you're necessarily going to use is just a small little pot. We're not going to make a lot of soup, probably enough to make about 4 servings. So now I'm going to perform the worst part of it and just do all the peeling and all the prep work. A little bit about myself. I've been cooking for a very long time, but it's my biggest passion. I love cooking a lot. I love making people happy with food. But my biggest happiness is probably my puppy Molly. She's right here beside me, making sure anything that could fall on the floor will be gobbled up by her. Hey, Molly. Hey. What's this? Say hi. Want to say hi? Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to tell people how to cook, or I don't want to tell people how to chop, and I don't want to tell people, you know what I mean? It's like everyone can do all that shit. I don't care. I don't want to cut too much in front of the camera because sure as shit, I'm going to cut myself. So I just want to demonstrate cutting, but I don't want to necessarily do a lot of cutting in front of the camera because I'm a friggin' klutz. I don't necessarily recommend putting too much carrot in a soup in a chowder. You don't even necessarily have to in the first place, but sometimes carrot in a chowder, especially a white chowder. By the way, I just fingered the camera. I didn't even mean to do that. Sorry. A white cheddar with a carrot, obviously the color, but carrots contain a lot of sugar and stuff like that, so it'll generally give it maybe a tinge of a color or a flavor to the soup that won't necessarily be that great if you put too much carrot in. So a chowder can be celery and onion for the most part, but I like a little bit of carrot. Also just to sort of bulk it up a little bit with some vegetables. I need something to put that in. And there we go. All right, now we have our onions. Oh. There's our vegetables, ready to go. Okay, and because I used onion, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the board over and start using the other side. I want a little bit of parsley just for while it's cooking. I'm not going to use the stems, they're going to go in the garbage. Let's be honest, picking herbs is a real pain in the ass, but it's necessary. All right, let's chop up some parsley. My cutting board is running away from me. We're just doing a rough chop. Also known as concassé, but who cares? All right, good enough. And let's chop up some bacon. I don't want to use all this bacon. That tends to be a lot for this soup. Again, I don't want to focus too much on the flavor of bacon as a profile, more as an accent. Bacon has a nice saltiness and smokiness, which is really good. But it's very easy to take all the other flavors away by using too much of this stuff because it is delicious. And let's face it, everything is better with bacon. I want to make sure the clams are the star here. So we're going to use a little bit of bacon because I'm also going to be using bacon fat for the flour to thicken the soup with making the roux. I use butter out here just to sort of demonstrate that you can use butter if you don't use flour, if you don't use bacon fat, but I save all my fat as much as I can because fat's flavor, really. All right, let's make this friggin' soup. Am I just blabbing away? Is it stupid or I don't really know? Yeah, drink break.
You should get a cozy.
I consume alcohol for your enjoyment. Just a basic 4-quart or a 4-liter pot. We're not making a huge soup here. I've got it warmed up to medium heat, maybe a little more, but the idea is we want to not have it too high because I want to sweat off the vegetables. Now, if you want to know what it means to sweat off the vegetables, look it up yourself. But otherwise, I'm just going to put the vegetables in the pan with some fat at a temperature that will bring the water out without browning the vegetables. Vegetables have sugar as well as water. I don't want to brown the sugars. I want to just sweat the vegetables so that the water comes out, releasing some of that water, creating steam. All right? And now, even though I said look that up, I just explained it. So that just defeated the whole purpose of saying that. But whatever. All right? Just shut up and listen to me. All right, so I'm going to use some bacon fat. I'm going to turn the fan on. I'm going to fry bacon in bacon fat because that is amazing. And before this gets too brown too quickly, I'm already going to put the vegetables in. Now I'm over talking over the fan, and I'm sorry that the fan is loud, but it is what it is. But the most important part about this is you hear that sizzle. You have to hear that sizzle. If you throw vegetables into a pan and you hear nothing, it's going to take a long time for that pan to warm up. And chances are it's going to make not necessarily a pleasant cooking experience because the vegetables won't have a chance to sort of hit that hot pan and start searing right away. So making sure you hear that sizzle when the food hits the pan. Music to my ears. Now this part could take up to about 10 minutes. All right, so you're not going to hang around for 10 minutes. That would take too long. And I don't want to do this for 10 minutes with you staring at me. It's kind of weird. So I'm just basically going to do this, and I'll come back and I'll see you in a little bit. Okay. Small potato chunks or larger, that's your preference. Do whatever you want. I don't care. It's your soup. So I don't need to fuss with this too much now. It's sort of going to go. I want to add a little bit of milk to this, okay, because I don't feel I have enough liquid. This is a 4-quart pot, and I've got a lot of chunks in this pot, and I want to make sure that the liquid reaches at least handle level, just like so. Ah, well, what the hell, let's throw it all in there. Now, all we need to do is throw a lid on it. Turn it down to a low heat and let it come up to a simmer slowly. And every so often come by and give it a stir. The one thing you want to avoid is by not stirring it, the flour could settle on the bottom of the pot and it could brown a little bit, or it could burn the bottom of the pot. So you do need to come by and you do need to stir it up a little bit and sort of get the thickening agents remixed together to make sure it doesn't sort of all sink to the bottom and burn the pot. Because that would suck. But there you have it. All we need to do next is make sure it's the right thickening agent, the right thickness, and then finish seasoning it, and it's essentially done. All right, so here we have New England or Boston clam chowder, and through the magic of video, it's completely done. It's amazing. All those ingredients, there's only a few, but they together make an amazing soup, clam chowder. Now, how thick or how thin you want your soup is completely up to you. So you judge yourself what you want to do in that regard. I don't like my soups overly thick. I find when they're overly thick, you don't necessarily enjoy them. They fill you up too quickly and you can't enjoy them that way. What I have here is just a little bit of parsley to put on top and a little bit of black pepper if you want that flavor as well. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to try it. And just like that. A little bit of parsley on top. Again, it's not a sprig of parsley, so I don't have to pull it out of my teeth. All right, let's give it a try. That's it, right there. All right? Little fancy schmancy over the top. Whatever you want to do. Go to town. Have fun. Don't take it too seriously. We're just cooking, folks.